Hello and welcome. I'm Amanda Elo'esh, and this is a preparation video for Living Wisdom. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about Living Wisdom, our ceremonies, myself, my background, and how to show up with the medicine in a good way. First, before we dive in, I want to take a moment to honor all of the medicine carriers, all of the medicine growers and medicine makers, all of the teachers and the lineages and the lands that have brought these ways of working and receiving from the medicine in a good way. Grateful for being on this sacred Wapo land here in Northern California and honoring the ancestors of this land and the elements and the keepers of the sacred directions, and so grateful for the opportunity to be here and to share in this sacred time and space with you, to show up with medicine in a safe and sacred way. So when we step into ceremony, we are stepping into the unknown to get help from something greater than us that wishes us well. And that can be very frightening. We tend to be uncomfortable with being in the unknown. But if we're going to receive something greater than we could have possibly imagined before, greater than what we could put together for ourselves, we have to be willing to step into the unknown to receive. And it's unfamiliar and it can bring up nerves. So that's normal. It's normal if you're feeling a little bit of nervousness. Also, you may have heard about the ego death that can happen. And sometimes on a subconscious level, even if you're brand new to medicine, there's something in you that knows that part of the healing work with this medicine is really letting go of what no longer serves us, and also learning to really fully see our whole selves, not just our brilliance, not just our gifts, which can be a beautiful opportunity. And sometimes we don't even see our gifts and the medicine shows us. But we also see our shadow. We see the parts of ourselves that are stuck in heavy narratives and heavy feelings. And we can come face to face with old wounds and old trauma. And so that's another reason that you can feel nerves ahead of time. And it is intimidating to imagine stepping into working with, coming face to face with these things. And that's why it's so important to come into this work in a safe and sacred way. I want to take a moment to acknowledge you for choosing to show up and to be on this path of healing, to take the time to be present and to come to this work with respect. It really is important to us, and we appreciate and acknowledge you for choosing to show up with us and to take this journey with us. Your own care and attention to preparation will not only make your experience better, it makes the experience for everyone else a lot better. And it really helps to know that we're all coming in with a particular foundation of wisdom and awareness and preparation. It helps the container to become stronger when we all agree to show up in a good way. And if it wasn't already obvious, we at Living Wisdom hold a very high bar and provide these valuable trainings based on over 2 decades of initiations, countless medicine ceremonies, education, and experience. And we ask that you please help us to continue to provide this high quality of ceremony by really taking the time to prepare, because you truly get out of it what you put into it. And the respect and care that you bring to it will come back to you. And I've heard some people say, oh my gosh, all of the stuff that you put out, the guide, the writing, the video, it's too much. And I get that it's a lot. We get that it's a lot. And if that's the case, then this ceremony probably isn't for you. There are so many people nowadays, trip sitters and facilitators, who are offering medicine that don't require and don't provide this kind of preparation and training. And we encourage you, if this does feel like too much, then it probably isn't a good fit, and you will be able to find exactly what you're looking for, and we wish you all the best. If, however, you truly believe this is a big deal and you are wanting to come with the reverence, then welcome. So good to have you, to have this like-hearted approach to the medicine path. In 2014, I had been working with ayahuasca for about 12 years at that point. Is that true? It's true. I was in the Amazon and in the middle of a journey, standing under the stars. And Mama Ayahuasca said, Amanda, I'm a big fucking deal. And all of the people who are coming to this work, they're getting a list of like, don't eat this, and, you know, don't have sex, and don't watch this and that, the other. But there's so much more to it. And because of my own work with the sacred feminine mysteries and multiple experiences and initiations into transformational work and ritual work and psychology, I had a bunch of different practices to really prepare myself and to work with the medicine during the ceremony and to integrate afterwards. And nobody was talking about preparation and integration at the time. It wasn't out there. And Mama Ayahuasca said, please share how to work with me and how to work with the medicine, to honor the medicine and to also receive what's actually possible, because there's so much more that people can have access to if they really prepare properly and understand the big fucking deal that this is. And so she showed me that what I had cultivated for myself was good to share with other people. And so I did. I put together a 3-month program that included going into the Amazon and doing dieta. So what I share is a valuable training based on initiations with multiple lineages, with Mayan shamanism, with Shipibo ayahuasca, with 2 different Mayan shamans, with Shipibo ayahuasca, with Mestizo ayahuasca. Don Jose Campos was my teacher in the Mestizo tradition. Lakota Wachuma medicine work with Medicine Path Native American Church with George Gray Eagle. And what you bring into it influences what you get out of it. I just mentioned George Gray Eagle. I received my Wachuma or San Pedro ministry from Medicine Path Native American Church, and George Gray Eagle was the medicine man for Medicine Path. He passed away in 2023. His teacher was Barrett Eaglebear. Her teacher was Norbert Running. This is part of the Lakota Shichangu tribe. And I started working and sitting with them in 2010. In 2012, George Gray Eagle adopted me. And in 2013, at the beginning of 2013, I was given my ministry. And I really appreciate this particular branch of the Lakota tribe because they are open to all who come in a good way. And that may be familiar, but not all tribes are open. And it's really quite an honor and a privilege to be able to even just receive the medicine, let alone be called and given the ministry and asked to serve this medicine. My ayahuasca initiation came earlier in working with ayahuasca from 2002 to 2010 with Don Jose Campos, and then called back to sit with this Shipibo tribe where I got the message from Mama Ayahuasca to really do deep preparation with folks. And I've also studied and taught in the sacred feminine mysteries. I've been able to sit with Cheyenne and peyote meeting And then again, the Lakota Wachuma San Pedro tradition. And some people have asked, and I think it's a beautiful question to ask about appropriation, being a white lady serving medicine and serving in some traditional ways. I will say that the ceremonies that I offer, they are heavily influenced by all of the work that I've done with Mayan shamanism, with the different traditions in ayahuasca, with the medicine path, uh, Wachuma tradition, but none of the ceremonies are a traditional ceremony. They don't reflect a specific lineage. What they reflect is all the different lineages that I have worked with and listening to the medicine, and honoring what's needed in the moment. There are many Indigenous and First Nations people who died and suffered greatly to keep these traditions alive. And I do not take it lightly that I am in a position of serving medicine. When I was invited in, and I was invited into all of the medicines that I serve, they were all asked of me to be of service, to serve the medicine by the teachers who passed those ministries on to me, and also from the medicine itself or themselves. Um, when I was invited, there was a fear back then, way back in the day, before all the conversation and awareness about appropriation was on social media. There was actually a fear that young people from these traditions, they were not wanting to learn. They were leaving the tribes. They were being seduced away into Western culture to make money, to go into IT, to go into jobs, and going into the cities. And so, and there were a lot of elders who were receiving vision and receiving guidance to open up, to no longer keep these traditions and some of the songs and teachings that had long been a secret and held tight in these tribes and lineages, to open up to all who come in a good way. And so I was invited because I was called. I was invited because I showed up to be of service, because I showed up with a good heart and I was seen and then offered these ministries. So, and the medicines, they are truly here to help us to heal and to remember our interconnectedness, which the Western mind really, really needs so badly to remember right now. In a way, the light-skinned people, or the people who our ancestors are the colonial, imperial dominators who subjugated and tried to annihilate these traditions. We've been really disconnected from this wisdom, and we really desperately need to be reminded. And these plants, all of them, they are literally grounded in the earth. They are literally embodying the conscious awareness of the interconnectedness of all things. And they shared with me when I was having a crisis, like maybe I shouldn't serve medicine anymore. I don't deserve to. I'm a white lady, and this isn't my, the medicine was very strong and said, you need, the white people need it, the people who are disconnected, the people who don't remember, the people who have forgotten, they need this medicine. And nobody owns the medicine. The medicine is available to everyone who comes in a good way, and you have been called. So nobody gets to tell you that you do or don't have the right to do it. Showing up with a good mind and a good heart and answering the call is what is required. So again, I'm so grateful for this invitation. I love what I do. I love that I get to do my own healing work and hold space for others to do the same. And again, I don't take it lightly. So how do we honor? How do we show up to these ceremonies and honor them? One way is to not tell the plants what your healing needs to look like. And that means being okay with the experience that you have in the medicine ceremony. So sometimes people show up expecting a really strong experience, a really psychedelic experience, a really cool thing that they're going to be able to walk away and tell people about. And sometimes it's very, very subtle. Sometimes people sit very sober. The most profound journey that I have ever had was what I thought was my last ayahuasca journey. And usually, very, very little medicine would make me very, very high in other dimensions and still journeying when the completion circle was done. I'm still journeying. But this one night, again, I thought it was my last journey. I sat sober all night, and the ayahuasca said, I'm going to give you the real healing, not the bells and whistles, not the amusement park ride. You're going to get the real healing. And what unfolded afterwards for several weeks into 2.5 months was really doing deep work, deep shadow work, deep core wound healing that was intense. And I'm so grateful for it because it needed to be done. So sometimes it's always important to come to the medicine with humility and to be open to receive and to know that you don't know what you need. The medicine knows what you need, and we want to make sure that you are safe. And so we often say it's better to go a bit on the lighter side, especially if it's your first experience. And trusting that if the medicine gives you something unexpected, that's a good sign. uh, and then also to realize once you decide to come to ceremony, sometimes even before you register, once you make that decision in your heart, you may start to notice shifts happen. Uh, Things that feel like a response to the query, things may start to fall apart or come together or change, or things that felt stuck may start to move. Living wisdom and the medicines honor your inalienable sovereignty. And once you ask for help, the medicines, they are timeless. They take down the veil that keeps us disconnected from fourth and fifth dimensional reality and helps us to see beyond third dimensional reality. And so it makes sense that the moment we give permission in our hearts and start asking for the help with our intention to come to ceremony, those medicines can start to work with us immediately. So, and they can work with you even without ingesting them. And so if you notice stuff like that happening and things start to feel overwhelming at any point, confusing, challenging, please don't feel like you have to struggle with it on your own. Please always know you can reach out to us and we are here for you. We've created so many resources for you and do our best to serve you as best we can to meet your needs and help you to have a beautiful journey, not just a ceremony, but a journey, a spiritual journey. I think I already said this, but I want to make sure I share that the mission of Living Wisdom is to create safe and sacred spaces for our diverse community to learn, heal, and grow together. So I share a multicultural approach, what I've found to be helpful over the last few decades of sitting in medicine ceremonies, working in transformational ritual and ceremony with and without medicine, and offering medicine. And I'll say that everything is optional, including ingesting the medicine. The practices that we offer, breath work and movement to help open your body, everything is optional unless there is a behavior that could cause harm to self and others or our temple space. Other than causing harm, whatever you choose to do is up to you. And we honor that. We don't come around and like put hands on you and like do a bunch of energy work on you. We put a lot of time and attention and intention into our own physical, mental, emotional, spiritual preparation, and to preparing the space in the same way so that you can work directly with the medicine, so that you can access source wisdom for yourself and honor the wisdom that's inside of you, to access the wisdom that is inside of you. There are a lot of facilitators, again, trip sitters, facilitators, full spectrum of different people offering medicine and entheogens or psychedelics. I would say most of them probably have great intentions, and a good deal of them probably even have a lot of knowledge. Without embodied commitment to be of service and doing your own inner work and really doing the shadow work, uh, it's hard to hold space for other people in a good way. Even with all of that, things can go awry. And I have been trained in counseling psychology. I have been trained in doing trauma work, working with PTSD, I have direct experience working with people who have a trauma response to breath work practice or something that gets them in touch with trauma, and how to bring them into a safe space for themselves and the others around them. So it's really important when you're looking for a medicine ceremony to make sure that your facilitator doesn't just have knowledge and doesn't just have good intentions, but actually has experience and maybe initiation with the cultures that they're serving the medicine from. And so some things to sit with as you tune in to medicine work is, what is calling you to the medicine? Why are you wanting to sit with this medicine? Is it to heal something? Is it to break through a block? Take a moment to sit with your intentions. What is the medicine that is calling you? Do you have an idea? If you don't know, it's okay. We can support you with that. But listen, oftentimes in my case, and a lot of cases, these medicines call to us. These medicines reach out and let us know, I have something for you. I have some healing for you. And again, we can help you with this if you have questions about what the right medicine is for you. We can't prescribe, but we can help you to tune in and answer some questions about what you're seeking and the different ways that these medicines tend to show up. When it comes to medications, we cannot advise you. It is not ethical, it is not legal for us to give you advice. We will not tell you to stop taking medication. We really highly recommend that you do research, that you speak with your physician, that you get properly informed so that you are making sure that your own physical health and well-being is attended to in a good way. We always defer to your inner wisdom about what to ingest, what not to ingest. Even if even if you realize, oh, I can't actually receive this medicine, but you still feel called, please come, because we've had multiple people come to our ceremonies who they can't ingest the medicine, but they have experienced profound healing from it. Usually it's traditional and very, very helpful to fast and to not eat during ceremony, because emptying out, it's a spiritual tradition, a lot of different traditions. Fasting is a way of emptying out to be available to spirit to fill us up. And it's a signal to say, I'm sacrificing, I'm coming open and available for you. And it also, on a physical level, it just allows the medicine to have free reign inside so that you're really tuned in with that and no static from metabolizing food. If you do happen to need to snack during the day, you know, if this is you, some people just really have to for their health and well being. That's totally fine. Please come prepared. Please bring what you need. Please make it simple and plan on doing it quietly and discreetly so that others who are fasting don't get distracted by that. Um, yeah, we ask that just not allow it to be a distraction to yourself or others, but please don't ever put yourself at risk to fast if that doesn't work for you. We honor your anonymity. We are very, very open about our medicine work. We've been open about it for many, many years. I'm very transparent about my medicine work and my healing journey. And we do really appreciate testimonials. But if you're not comfortable sharing your name, we will never share your name. We only share names with permission. And we ask that you please honor anonymity of all those who are in ceremony. We ask that you please don't talk about other people's experiences in ceremony, and to also be mindful that what is shared in ceremony, that's a safe and sacred container. And it may not feel safe or welcome to go back into that share, that vulnerable share outside of the container. So if somebody shares something that's very touching for you, please ask permission. You shared something earlier, a prayer, you shared something that really touched me, and I'd like to ask you about it, or I'd like to share something that it touched in me. Is that okay? Please always ask permission and be prepared to hear yes or no, or maybe later, and feel free to offer whatever works for you to honor your boundaries. It is important we honor your boundaries. Please let us know what your boundaries are. Please let others know what your boundaries and needs are. George Gregel would often say, talking about ceremony isn't ceremony. And in some traditions, talking about ceremony, it's like pretending that you knew what happened, summarizing some really mystical, powerful, ineffable thing, and talking about it can be seen as a form of disrespect. So please just be mindful about what you're sharing, how you're sharing it, who you're sharing it with, when and where you're sharing it. And again, always get consent and honor anonymity. So there's an invitation for you to think of the medicine as the revered master teacher. How would you speak about a revered master teacher? And to consider speaking about the medicine that way. What do you actually know about a revered master teacher? Sometimes our ego can get really in the way, and we want to tell other people who are new to it all that we know about it. That is a way of diminishing the power of the medicine inside our own selves. So the deeper teaching, there are subtleties and nuances. Don't get caught up in it. These are all just seeds planting in your consciousness to ponder, to sit with. It's impossible to say what your experience is going to be like because person to person is very different. Ceremony to ceremony is very different. The configuration of the people in the ceremony has an impact. The time of day, the time of year, the particular space that you're in, the constellations. There's so many different elements that impact a ceremony, including the unpredictable, mystical, magical, ineffable power of the medicine itself. So we have had folks have a DMT like experience. I did a sound healing. I did a sound healing, just sound healing, no medicine, at Esalen. And Dave Navarro, I don't know if you know who he is, whether you do or not. One of the one of the participants is a famous musician, and afterwards he said that felt like a DMT trip to me. And I've had people have that kind of experience with just a sound healing or a really profound emotional purge or breakthrough that felt like a medicine ceremony at a cacao ceremony. And then again, I shared previously, we've had people, including myself, who've sat totally sober during a medicine ceremony with lots of medicine in them. So, and then I've had times where I haven't ingested any medicine at all and felt very, very high from the medicine. So when we ask the medicine to help us, it is really quite ineffable. It is multidimensional, and it can impact us in ways that are very unpredictable. So allow yourself to be open and receptive to the different possibilities. We do our best to dial in a good dose for you, regardless of what medicine we're working with. And for your safety, we think it's best to be on the gentler side, especially if you're new to medicine in general or the specific medicine that we're serving. Your tolerance can change over time. Mine certainly has. I keep reducing the amount that I facilitate with by half and think, wow, that was really great, but I could go with even less. And I keep doing that, and I keep having these really, really big, beautiful experiences. In general, what I've heard from my teachers is that the more attuned you are to the medicine, the less you need. But please don't judge yourself or others about how much or how little it takes. It's not a contest. Again, people need different things based on their unique circumstances. So tune in, trust, go on the gentle side, work your way up. You need what you need, and we trust that you get what you need from the medicine. In general, we experience that folks can have a very big journey with us because of the container in general. We've had people who are like, wow, I didn't really feel this until I came into this ceremony, or the medicine wasn't really seeming to be effective for me anymore until I came and sat in the ceremony. Again, it could vary greatly though. So here are some things that can get in the way of having a really big experience. Say you want a really big experience. Here are some things that might have some control over or some awareness of that may be getting in the way. Number one is expectations. Coming in thinking, I'm gonna, want to have this journey into the underworld. I'm gonna have an ego death. I want to have visuals. Having those kinds of expectations in a way is actually disrespectful, because again, it's telling the medicine what you need, when it's like, this is the revered teacher that sees us and knows us much better on this level than we know ourselves, and it will give us what we need. So letting go of expectations is really helpful. If you're very, very heady, if you're a very mental person, if you can get really analytical and caught up in mental processes and analysis, that can be a buzzkill, quite literally. On a conscious or subconscious level, there may be fear of letting go, or fear of losing control, or fear of the unknown. And those can all keep you grounded. Not always. Sometimes you can have those fears and it can still launch you into outer space quite efficiently, but that can sometimes keep a person grounded when they are hoping to have a bigger experience. And then the final thing I'll say about that is the medicine might just give you something very, very gentle. And at some point, if you work with the medicine long enough, you may have your ass handed to you on a platter. And you'll be look back and be so grateful for the gentle journeys that you've had. So gentle is beautiful. Gentle allows for greater integration. I feel like gentle and slow creates more real change. Getting the like bells and whistles and the visions, it's cool. It's fun to talk about, but unless you know exactly what it means, a lot of times you can come away like, that was cool, and I got to see these other dimensions, and I believe even stronger in something greater than this world. But other than that, I don't really have much. And so the gentle, the subtle can really offer deep, profound, long lasting life changes for the better. And personally, I value that quite a bit. No matter what, no matter what happens in the ceremony, the healing definitely continues once you leave the ceremony, and it will continue to provide and unfold, provide new insights, new opportunities, the more you allow it. So the big changes that you pray for when you're in ceremony, it's not like you're going to come in, make a prayer, and leave ceremony, and your life's just all of a sudden better. Although we honestly have had quite a few people say, like, I got what I prayed for today. That's beautiful. Most of the time, the things that we pray for, it requires some things to change, a better job, you have to transition, a better relationship, there's work that has to happen, better health. So oftentimes we're living a genuinely human life, and it takes some time for things to shift. And so give yourself time and give yourself space. And it's really, really best to let it unfold as gently and as possible. But the healing can come in many forms, and it can come quickly, as I mentioned. When you leave ceremony, or as I mentioned, sometimes even before, relationships can shift dramatically. Sometimes they can come to an end. Careers can shift or come to an end. Your health may shift. You may start to become intolerant of things that you tolerated before. Your prayer and the medicine may bring in a vibration that all of a sudden now it's not tolerating things that you used to in the past. Things may bubble to the surface. Things may continue to come up and come out in the form of like, oh, this is falling apart. This is leaving, loss. And I always see that for myself, trusting that the medicine is alleviating me of things that don't serve my prayer, and that's all an answer to prayer. And I found that to always be the case. If, however, sometimes those things that fall apart, they create a sense of instability, they can bring up fear, and we can kind of scramble to try to put things back the way they were before, which George Gregel calls praying backwards. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel really challenged and don't know how to navigate the shifts that are happening as a result of your prayer and your medicine work, please remember to reach out to us. We will do everything we can to help you. We're here to support you, including we can do private work with you. We have a lot of free resources. We have a whole gamut. And so please always feel free to reach out and let us know what's going on so that we can support you. And that, show up, stay connected with the community. In ceremony, it's very common to have mental loops arise. Very, very common, and have heavy mental space arise. And this is the medicine really holding a magnifying glass to certain thoughts and feelings and experiences that are holding you down. I realized like, oh, this is an opportunity to break out of the maze. Instead of struggling with it and grappling with it and going into it and trying to fight it, I try to focus on, well, what is the ineffable? What is the unimaginable healing that the medicine's bringing to me? And to stay focused in that greater possibility, and to stay focused, eyes open on something beautiful at the altar, and to asking for help if those mental loops get heavy. That's what we're here for. And again, I really feel like one of the biggest gifts of the medicine work and transformational work in general is accessing your wholeness. And that's a theme that the plants tend to offer. Often there is shame attached, and to parts of ourselves that we don't love. We feel shame about them and judgment about them, and allowing the love to come in. We invite you, like, can you meet these parts that have been judged and heavy and in shame? Can you meet these things with love and kindness? Can you welcome in the love and the kindness? Can you breathe in permission for the love and the kindness to come in to these places? That is a beautiful way to work with the medicine. Let the medicine do that work for you, but giving permission and allowing it in is really, really helpful. I've found that most pain and suffering during a medicine ceremony is from fighting with the medicine. Fighting with the medicine, what the medicine's trying to do for you. And again, I'll say, when the unexpected happens, it's a good sign. Even if it's scary, trust when the unexpected happens that something greater than you that wishes you well is actually in charge and has got it. It's got you. Once you register for ceremony, I really invite you to start journaling and start noticing your dreams, and notice how things are shifting. Notice what challenges are arising. Notice what new insights may be coming. This can help you as you prepare to come to ceremony. And then when you do show up to ceremony, please do your best to come prepared with what you need. To come with a journal, to come with a pen, to come with, there's a lovely list we provide with the mask, the earplugs, whatever it is. Look at that list a few times. Get your things gathered together in a little to-go bag. We do a lot to create the safe and sacred space. And when people are showing up for ceremony, there's a lot that we are managing. We are trying to stay present and grounded ourselves, preparing our own energy body for ceremony. We are greeting new people into the home, getting multiple people situated and settled. And if you're asking us to go find you a pen or this, that, and the other, of course, we're happy to do it. And it's really helpful when you show up prepared with all that you need. We really appreciate it. I'm going to thank you ahead of time. Thank you for doing that. The medicine will help to remove what doesn't align with your prayer. So it will work on a mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual, and physical level. And I like to talk about the 7 dwarves of release. There's actually more than 7, but we've got pukey, weepy, shaky, sweaty, laughy, coughy, farty, hiccupy, all kinds of ways. There's all different kinds of ways that we release things from our system, emotions, energies, whatever your body is releasing, it's a good sign. Your stomach may gurgle, things will move. It's really great to give them permission to go. We'll do movement and breathwork practices to kind of get things started and soft and open. Drinking a lot of water throughout the day or tea is really, really helpful. Moving your body or being relaxed. Listen to your body. Some people realize, I need to just get really still. I need to get in my little nest and just be completely relaxed and let the medicine do what it needs to do. Some people are like, I really need to shake. or I really need to dance, or I really need to do some stretching and some yoga or some self massage, please listen to what you need. Don't worry if nobody else is doing that. We've had multiple people, is this normal? Is this okay? And like, of course it's okay. If what you're needing to do is disrupted, because sound, or all of our senses are so sensitive during ceremony, and somebody maybe making some noise might be distracting. So we may, if we have the opportunity, we may invite you to come into another space or give you a pillow to, speak into, or something like that. It's not because you're in trouble or you're doing anything bad. It's just, it helps for everybody to have their own experience and drop into their own experience. So on that note, please refrain from primal screaming. It can be very, very disturbing to other people in the space. If you're outside, it can be very, very disturbing to our neighbors. And I've found at times when I've been like really accessing some deep rage, when I've let that sound out, it kind of re-traumatizes myself. So if you need to scream, you need to do it. It's okay. Let us know. We will bring you into another space. We'll give you a pillow, let it out. We'll do everything we can to accommodate. Just know that we're working with a container that includes other people who are doing their work. So it is helpful to have, as George Gregel says, a clear and simple prayer. If you are going into long, drawn out explanations about why you have your problem and why this happened to you and this story and this narrative, it can make it very sticky. It can reinforce the stuckness and why you need to be stuck in that reality. A clear and simple prayer is offering, this is what I'm grateful for, and this is what I want help with. It can be very, and when you can condense it so that it's concise, it can guide you through your journey, and it can guide you for the rest of your life. This is my prayer. This is not my prayer. This is my prayer. So clear and simple prayer is very, very helpful. Good thing to journal beforehand, good thing to journal during, and we will give you little cards. You can journal on them or write your clear and simple prayer there as well. It can sometimes be really helpful to have a positive image to stay connected. We will have a beautiful altar, lots of beautiful images for you to stay connected with. Sometimes when we close our eyes and go inside and things get heavy and we kind of get lost in those old loops, it can be good to open your eyes and stay focused on something really beautiful and uplifting. We have sacred images at the altar. We have yantras, sacred geometries, and they're all created to elevate and bypass the analytical mind and really help to elevate your thoughts and your feelings and your energies. If you want to bring your own image, that's beautiful, a little stone to hold in your hand to help you remember to stay focused on receiving the elevation for your life. My journey with medicine started with cannabis in 1998. And I guess I received it before then, but I didn't like it. And it wasn't in a sacred way. It wasn't in a mindful way. And it felt very heavy and it made me feel paranoid. And I didn't understand why anybody would ever voluntarily ingest. But I learned how to work with it in a sacred and ritual way. And what I found is that instead of it bringing anxiety, what it actually does is it helps me to really tune in to my multi-dimensional self, my energetic layers, and be aware of where I have psychic, energetic, spiritual energies that are stuck. And it's helped me to become really good at energetic hygiene. And so in pretty much all of our medicine ceremonies, We either provide cannabis or welcome you to work with cannabis. I don't want to say always, but it's pretty much always available, because I find that it's very helpful for some to tune in and to do the integrative work, the movement, the breath, the awareness of where in your body things feel stuck, and to get it open and receptive so that the other medicine that we ingest has easier access to you, mind, body, spirit. Um, it's always a choice. Just because it's my medicine and I love it and I'm offering it, please don't ever feel pressured. It's always, with everything, with all the medicines and all of the practices, it is your choice whether to ingest or not. Um, I'll share a little bit more. So in 1998, 99 was when I started working consciously with cannabis. In 2002 is when I started my work with ayahuasca with Don Jose Campos, who is a beloved ayahuasquero from Peru. And I had that profound journey with ayahuasca in 2010, where she said, I'm going to give you the real healing. And then I went through the dark night of the soul, really diving in and cleaning out. And I really thought this was it. Like, she gave me the healing and we're done. Um, but and then in 2010, after deep Mayan shamanic initiation, I felt called to connect with my Native American roots, because I do have Native American ancestry, but the tribe that I'm from, I'm not even sure what tribe I'm from. And that whole area, they're not open to people that look like me. They're open to people that are born and raised on that land. But I made a spiritual call to connect with my Native American roots, and was welcomed into Medicine Path Native American Church and started praying with them on a weekly basis with their Chanupa, their sacred pipe ceremonies, and started doing medicine work with them in early 2011. And then in 2012, Medicine Path brought their sweat lodge, their medicine sweats, to land that I was on in Oakland, and got to sit in all of their sweat lodges and many of their Wachuma ceremonies. And then in 2013, as I mentioned, in 2012, George Gregel adopted me as his spirit sister. And at the beginning of 2013, offered me my Wachuma ministry. I received a master's degree in counseling psychology and expressive arts therapy from California Institute of Integral Studies. I completed that in 2008. And while I was there, I did a practicum with California Pacific Medical Center at Marin General Hospital in integrative medicine guided imagery. So using guided imagery and expressive arts to work with all kinds of hospital patients, from inpatient to outpatient, pre-surgery, maternity, palliative care, people going into hospice. I just got to work with all kinds of people, and I got to run two different medical support groups. And I worked with outpatient clients who were in different stages of receiving cancer diagnosis to being given the all clear, and doing outpatient work with them through the Institute for Health and Healing and Marin Cancer Resource Center. And again, I have training in trauma healing and working with PTSD, and mentioned quite a few of the different teachers and lineages that I've studied with. This has been my life's passion, healing, delving into consciousness, subconscious, healing the body, mind, spirit complex from spirit, from the ineffable that we have within us, which is our consciousness, which is limitless and ever expanding if we give it the opportunity. So this has been my life's passion and my life's calling. The assistants that I invite in to help me are well trained, experienced, and well vetted. I get help myself. I've sat in a lot of different medicine ceremonies and learned from a lot of different folks, and I get help as well. I reach out, I do my own healing work on a regular basis, my own shadow work. And I think it's important for us to do that. And I will say that I don't pretend to be perfect. And if there's ever anything that happens in a ceremony that feels unsafe, please let us know. We do recognize hurt people come with a lot of trauma, and it can be scary, and things can come up, and it can be hard to trust. But we have an excellent track record, and intend to continue that. And please know, if there's any way we can support you in feeling more safe, or anything that we can do to help improve our ceremonies, please let us know. We cap our ceremonies right now at 10 people. That may change in the future, but right now they're very small, and this still can be difficult. There still can be a way of being impacted by others. It might be helpful to bring masks and earplugs, make sure you can make a nest for yourself. We invite you to be really gentle with yourself going in, to give yourself more rest, to give yourself spaciousness from things that are upsetting, things that are psychically heavy. Sexual fasting is often recommended for medicine work. And tuning into music and social media or movies, entertainment that's uplifting, or turn it off altogether. Turning off your devices as much as possible, really, really helpful. Definitely in the ceremony space, we ask you to not have them with you in the ceremony space, to not only turn them off, but not have them in the ceremony space. If you are on call and there may be an emergency, this might not be the time for a ceremony. We ask that when you come, that you be able to fully drop in. Energetically, it's very wobbly if you are on the edge of needing to leave, and that also just isn't safe if you're in a medicine experience and may need to leave for some reason. So we ask that you make sure you can take the whole day to be with us fully, and give yourself rest before and after. We encourage you to give yourself time and space for something new to happen in your life, in your mind, in your spirit, in your calendar. Great integration comes from preparing ahead of time to allow for change, allow space to rest, and allow time to let everything land and ground in a new way. We encourage you to let your loved ones know that you are going through a transformational experience. You may not let them know exactly the medicine work. That might not be the best thing to tell them about your medicine work, but to let them know that you're doing a big transformational experience, and that you may do things differently or feel differently, and you may need some extra space and rest afterwards. It's good to be as honest as possible, as transparent as possible with the people who are close to you, so that they can be supportive and understanding and help you in your integration process. If there are others who are not going to be supportive, we again just be as clear as possible about your needs. Others may be resistant. Changes may be scary to them. If you're not really supported by the people around you, it can be hard to have new realities. It can be hard to receive and open up to the answers to your prayers. So it's great to stay connected with community, great to build relationships with folks who can support you. We're here for you. So please reach out to us. Please stay connected with us. Please stay connected with the people that you meet at ceremony. We encourage those friendships to be forged. Allow your relationships to be different. Your boundaries may shift, they may get stronger. You may open up more to somebody or something. Really tune in, give spaciousness for those changes to happen. Let your prayer continue to unfold for you. You may feel the desire to come back to ceremony regularly, quarterly. We have different memberships that you can participate in that make it easier for you to come on a regular basis and sit with us. You may want to show up from time to time. You may be a one and done person. You may come to ceremony and get exactly what you need and never need another medicine ceremony. Please know we want to honor what's best for you. We encourage you to tune in what's best for you. We're here for you. And you may think, I'm done, and then decide to come back later. It's all good. Let us know how we can support you. Another thing to be aware of is that after a really big experience, it is very common the day or two afterwards to feel a dip, and things may feel very heavy. You may be very tired. Your thoughts may even be heavy. So just to be aware, it's normal. It's like your system trying to find equilibrium. We really encourage taking melatonin, theanine 5-HTP, again, not a prescription, but we take it for ourselves. And in general, that combo and those particular substances tend to be generally people tend to be very tolerant of them, and they're helpful after a big experience like that. But to just anticipate that there may be a dip, going out into nature, doing yoga, mineral baths, Epsom salt bath, drinking a lot of water, getting a lot of rest, tuning into things you've written about your prayer, uplifting music, uplifting messages, connecting with us, connecting with other people that you journeyed with. That will help you to move through any dips and any challenges that arise. When you're in ceremony, we ask you to be mindful of your words, because your words, our words, are very powerful invocations, and swearing can feel sharp and harsh. And in the Wachuma ceremonies specifically, it's really considered disrespectful. Sometimes they slip out and it won't be the end of the world, but we do ask you to be mindful of your language. We also ask you to be mindful of chit chat on the day of ceremony, especially in the ceremony space. We're in a rarefied field, a really beautiful opportunity to drop in deep and to let go of the chit chat, to really let yourself feel your feelings, to really let yourself be with yourself, and to tune in and let other people also be tuning into themselves and their prayer. There will be a lot of time afterwards at the Wopila, the potluck, where we're eating, we're sharing food, to drop into what do you do for a living, do you know about this book, and to share all those things. And during our day together, to really stay tuned into your prayer and to tune into those mindful and sometimes even silent connections you can make with other people. We invite you to stay open and curious to how the medicine is answering your prayer. We do encourage you to stay connected with the people that you meet. Please get each other's contact information. If somebody asks you for your contact information and you don't want to give it, don't. And if you ask somebody for their contact information and they seem uncomfortable, please honor that. But we do encourage those relationships, those friendships. You've shared a big experience, and we want to build community. And please know we're always here for you. Get support if things feel challenging, either us or somebody else. We want to make sure that you keep the forward momentum going and not pray backwards out of fear and try to go back to the way things were when things start to shift from the prayers that you made. we invite you to schedule check-in calls and schedule coming back to ceremony when it feels like it could be helpful. Sometimes it's really great to keep the momentum going. So schedule time with us. Come to our community gatherings. Come to our online entheogen preparation and integration support circle. These things will help to keep the momentum going forward for you. If you're not, we invite you to get on our mailing list, livingwisdomchurch.org. And then people ask us, do we take the medicine? Usually, yes, I take a very small amount. I feel like it helps me to guide the ceremony in a good way. I don't take enough that I'm incapacitated. I've always been able to stay grounded and present and show up in a good way for the medicine. And then, yeah, I've covered. Don't get too caught up in how much, did I take too much? Did I take too little? To really trust that the medicine's going to have an impact on you based on what you need and will support you in easing into it. You can always ask for more medicine. You can ask for no medicine. You can ask for a homeopathic amount. You can ask for a microdose. Just communicate with us what feels best for you. While our ceremonies do have kind of a general flow to them, we are always refining. And sometimes, we're listening to the medicine, we're listening to spirit guide us. And so while there's a general flow, every ceremony is different. And so it's hard to predict what's going to happen exactly, except there's usually breath work, integration, guided meditation, there's ingesting of medicine, there's sharing of prayers, there's almost always a sound healing. And we encourage you to, again, participate on whatever level feels honoring of your own inner wisdom and guidance. Having a lot of water, focusing on your breath, movement in your body, they all help things to flow in a good way. And that's so we provide that throughout the day. We have plenty of breaks and opportunities for you to take care of yourself, to go to the bathroom, to step outside, to journal, to move. And we always invite you to do what you need to take care of yourself. And if you're not sure how to do that, please feel free to check in with us. We're here to support that. We will pretty much always offer a sound healing. We have recorded music as well, because sometimes, well, the music is a beautiful container, and sometimes we need to be attending to things and can't be playing music live while we're attending to other things, but we weave in recorded and sound healing. We ask that you please let us guide. The music does tend to have a huge impact on the ceremony. In fact, traditional ceremonies, the music was considered the medicine. And usually the shaman was the one that ingested the entheogen, and the entheogen guided the channeling of the music. Sometimes people see the instruments and they feel really tempted to go play with them. Those are, especially the instruments that I have out, those are very sacred to me. And they are instruments of prayer, and ask that you not use them. There are some instruments that we have that are available for you to play, but we ask again to really honor the container and that you're here to receive, and to not jump into trying to make music. If you are a musician, please let us know. If you have experience offering music during ceremony, please let us know. We love to invite voices and music into the ceremony at the right time. And it's usually as we're grounding in and people are starting to ground in. Would be happy to have you offer your music. Just make sure to check in with us first about that. The altar is sacred. It operates in a few different ways. It's a great place to focus your awareness. There are a lot of sacred images there that can help to stay focused on the elevation versus falling into those negative mental loops, feelings. In the way that I work with, somebody said that it's mission control, and I loved that. The way that I work with an altar, I'm sitting in front of my Jaguar altar right now. It works in a few different ways. I treat it in a sacred way, which means I don't worship it, but I treat it with mindfulness and with care and great reverence. And in doing so, I mark it as a place that's like this meeting place between me as a human in the third dimensional realm and something greater than me that wishes me well, the holy guides, allies, ancestors. It's like a throne for them to anchor in at, because I've treated it in a sacred way. These high frequency beings can meet me here. And so it's like a throne in that way. I provide offerings. I feed the holy with incense, with songs. We feed the holy with what we're releasing and giving back to source to elevate on our behalf. So it's like a composter as well. It's like a mouth because we're feeding it, and it can speak to us. It can be the mouth of the holy, giving us wisdom and insight and messages. I ask that you not grab things on the altar, not move things on the altar, not touch things on the altar, because they are active prayers and they're actively doing work, and interfering and grabbing something or moving something can sometimes cause illness, can and be disruptive, and at the very least it's just not it's not culturally appropriate to be interacting and moving things on the altar. When we come to completion, people are always worried. You will know when it's safe for you to drive home, and you do not need to put any pressure on yourself to leave until you feel safe to drive home. We will provide information about places nearby that you can stay. And we also offer overnight stay with us. It's great if you can arrange it beforehand, but sometimes you have a bigger experience than you planned and you need to spend the night, and that's perfectly all right. We ask for an extra donation for hosting and providing that space. But please let yourself have your journey, ground in a pace that works for you. And don't worry if you need to spend the night. It's perfectly all right. And you will know exactly when you can drive home. The medicine will be very clear. After our ceremony, the ceremony space stays a ceremony space. And we don't bring food, and we don't bring chit chat, we don't bring devices into the ceremony space. So you can rest there, you can pray there, you can do healing work there, you can work with oracles, you can sit at the altar. But everything else, like potluck and chit chat and everything else, we'll have outside of the ceremony space. We'll move into the potluck together. Please remember to bring your potluck item. Please do your best to bring a potluck item that aligns with the diet that we're all on. We really prefer gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, and organic is great. Do your best. And if you have any questions, please reach out. We have great suggestions for you if you need that. We ask that you arrive on time. We'll give you a window of like, please arrive between this time and this time. Please do your best to show up at the door in that window of time, because we're doing our best to get ourselves and the space ready to receive you. And we're looking at the clock and making sure that we time things so that we have time to get everything ready to receive you in a good way. And so coming too early distracts us from things that we need to take care of, and receiving people too early. And we also need you to arrive by the time by the close off time, so that we're all here and ready to drop in together. That's part of the safe and sacred container. Part of the container is the time container. And so please do your best to honor that, recognize traffic may be different based on weather, based on the fact that it's a Saturday. Is there an event coming up that may, just try to tune in and be aware. If you're spending the night with us, do your best to show up on the earlier side of that window so that we can get you settled and get your things situated. Yeah, once we start, it's just really disruptive to have people who want to come late, because we basically have to wait. We have to just sit and wait for somebody to come, and it definitely has an impact on the container. And if you find that you can't be on time, please just plan on coming to another ceremony rather than asking us to wait for you. And we're happy to register you for a different ceremony. During ceremony, we ask that you avoid crosstalk or commenting on people's prayers or things that they share in ceremony. If, again, I mentioned this previously, if somebody says something that's really sparked, please wait. Please don't give advice to people. They're here to receive healing from the medicine. They may not want to discuss it. They may be up for it, but please wait until after ceremony and ask, and avoid the commentary and crosstalk during ceremony. You may want to bring art supplies. If you love to draw, bring your art supplies so that you can be creative. Journaling is great. Come prepared with what works for you. We talked about movement and breath and all the different ways that may be helpful for you. Yeah, we encourage you to draw if that's your thing. If you're worried about your process being disruptive again, just check in with us and we'll do our best to help you. And then trust that others are doing their work, and somebody may be having a big experience that may look difficult to you, but to really focus on your own experience. They may be having the time of their life. It's happened many times where somebody's had a really big experience, maybe they've been shaking or weeping, and other people are like distracted, like, oh no, they're having a bad time. And like, that was the most amazing thing ever. So it's really helpful to just stay focused on your experience. Put your rescuer, your caretaker, let them go off duty and really love and care for yourself and tune into what you need, and trust that others are getting what they need, and that, if you need help, you'll ask for help. And if they need help, they'll ask for help. And again, we generally don't just come up, we don't do work on you. We do things to clear out the space. We'll, shake things, we'll light incense to clear the space out. But we won't come up and do work on you. If we're guided to offer something, we will always ask beforehand, like, can I put a hand on your back? Can I breathe some apacho on you? So we always ask permission for that. After people have had time to journey and sound healing, we start to recognize that people are grounding in, and we ask people to gather for a completion round where you can share anything that feels important to share, or ask for any last bits of help that you may need before we complete. Honor where you're at. Honor where you're at in your journey. Let's see. If you have a history of not being able to take accountability for your behaviors, especially with altering substances, we ask you to please consider withdrawing from the ceremony and working with us to get our help. We provide deep mental, emotional healing support. I am, happy to help you prepare to come to ceremony in a good way. We want it to be a safe and sacred experience. And if you're worried about losing control and not comporting yourself in a good way, let's work towards that, or consider a private ceremony. That's always a possibility. We can help with the sacred part. and you are responsible for your behavior and showing up in a way that's safe. Um, as our I love Jeff Wright is the president of Medicine Path Native American Church, and I love one of the sayings he says: "Having a good excuse to behave badly is not the same as behaving well." And so that means no matter what's going on, like, can you, even if things are troubling, even if you're having a hard time, can you show up in a way that is safe and sacred for yourself and others? That's important. Uh, we're about to complete this ceremony preparation video. We have specific shorter videos for the specific medicine that you will be sitting with. Please make sure to be familiar with everything in this video, everything in all of the preparation information that we send out to you. It's really important that you be familiar and show up prepared and informed. And let us know if there's anything that's not clear, especially in the writing. If reading is difficult, comprehension is difficult, please let us know. We're happy to help you in any way we can. You can learn more about me and my work at Elo'esh.com. You can learn more about Living Wisdom at livingwisdomchurch.org. And when you go to livingwisdomchurch.org, if you get on our mailing list, you hit that little button, you will be sent the Essential Entheogen Guide. And that is really comprehensive before, during, and after ways to show up to the work in a masterful way. Some of this information is in there, but some of it is special extra credit, super Entheo Jedi masterful tips to make your ceremony work even next level. Thank you for taking the time again to tune in, to show up in a good way, to prepare yourself, and to make this experience as amazing as possible. We really do appreciate and honor your respect and reverence for this medicine. We are looking forward to sitting and praying with you and helping you on your medicine path. And until we get to connect, may the source be with you.